Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is my third quarter DNF wrap up. As you all know, I'm sure I DNF a lot of books, and this is where I talk about which books I DNF'd and why. Hey, I DNF'd 22 books this quarter. I am in a bit of a hurry. The guy's supposed to show up to fix my washer in 30 minutes. The fact that it's a week later and it's the day that I'm posting this and I'm once again waiting for the washer guy to show up to fix my washer. The saga that refuses to end. I just want a working washer. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. That's my wish list. To try and get this video done before he knocks on the door. Fingers crossed that this estimated timeline is correct and we can do that. That would be great for me personally. So this is just the order it's on the Goodreads shelf. It's not the chronological order or anything like that. And I DNF'd The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. It was fine. It was perfectly fine. I read 9% of this. There's nothing wrong with it. This is obviously very popular. It's like a fantasy mystery Sherlock Holmes inspired type thing. I didn't have enough time to read it. I wasn't prioritizing it. I was picking up other books instead of continuing it, and it went back to the library. And honestly, I'm not sure if it's gonna stay on the TBR or not. Don't really know. Haven't really made up my mind completely on that one. I also DNF'd What Fury Brings by Trisha Levenseller, I think also at 9%. And this I DNF'd because this is the one where it is not a feminist book. It is just reverse. So all of the misogyny that we have in our world is against men. All of the things that typically happen in our world happen to men via women specifically. And I was okay with that thought experiment and everything. Like I really did not hate the idea of exploring that. This is not at all saying this is how it should be or elevating that. I can't think of the word I want. It's not saying that that's a good thing at all. However, the hero's father is abusive, and I just don't want to read about abusive families. I don't, and I didn't want to read this enough to overcome that. Then I have The Storm's Whisper, which is the Broken Lands #5 by T.A. White. This one is still on the TBR. I just, again, kind of stopped reading it. I only read a chapter or two. It's the end of the series, so there's not really much that I can tell you about it, except that these final two books follow the herd mistress and continues the storyline with mythical creatures and species that have come out of sleeping, hiding, all of that, and are moving around, and she's going to be kind of a liaison for them. Then I have Shadowed Obsession, which is by Evelyn Leigh. This is a dark mafia romance. DNF'd at 17%. Didn't feel like reading it this evening. Honestly, I was just, it was fine, and I didn't care enough to continue. He sets her up to be trafficked, basically, and then can't go through with it because he's trying to find his sister who was trafficked, and then she won't forgive him for that, which, like, girl, I get it, but also, I don't know, he doesn't know you, so. Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I had done this in a try chapter, then I read part of the next chapter and was like, actually, I'm DNFing it at 6%. I didn't love the flow of the writing. I wanted to see what all the conversation was about. I wanted to know, but this is one of those ones that I would like to know without actually reading it. I'd like to have previously read it, you know what I'm saying? And I have Lights Out by Dnfed Allen. I could not get into this book. I could not. I DNF'd it at 2%. 2%. It's been 3 days. Sometimes you have to DNF or remove books off your TBR, not because you won't enjoy them if you read them, but because you can't seem to get yourself to read them and are instead avoiding reading rather than picking them up. It always comes to a crisis. If I'm avoiding reading, I either have to pick it up right then or it's gotta be a DNF. I can't keep dragging it out. Then I DNF Star Spangled Jesus, Leaving Christian Nationalism and Finding a True Faith by April Adjoy. or a joy. DNF 7%. I'm sure I would agree with and enjoy this book if I continued, but I don't think it's what I need right now. Also, the beginning, I think it felt really, I can't think of any of the words that I want today. If you grew up in Christian nationalism, it felt redundant. It felt very redundant if you already knew that. And obviously that's where I'm coming from, and I was interested in their perspective also having come from that. But then it's like, why are we, I don't know, laying all this groundwork that we obviously were indoctrinated with already. I DNF Trapped by Jessica Lynch, which is Imprisoned by the Fate #1. 22%. I don't really care. This one, I'm not even sure which one of this type of thing it was. She's locked up across the hall from this guy, and he like used to be a prison guard and now he's a traitor. Okay. It was fine, not good. Then I DNF'd Dark Planet Warriors. This is actually a bind up of the series by Anna Carvin. DNF 17%, no interspecies mating. I hate that. I don't like when they're not allowed to be together because of something else. The Highlander's Scarred Heart by Michelle Derwister de Lerempel. That's probably really butchering their name, and I apologize. DNF 55%, ableist, no one can stand to see my scars, constant rhetoric, and then turns out he was burned because of a slut. So that was wild. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean she just couldn't keep her legs closed and she would just sleep with anyone and she just wanted you, so she lured you into this cottage and then it burned down around you and then everyone believed that you were really there to have sex with her, and so then nobody respected you, so then you got banned from your clan. Like, what are you talking about? Primal by Ava Marx. This was ridiculous. This is a Hansel and Gretel retelling. They are step siblings. He's like 24, she's 18. And somehow the guy killed off the mother of his son and his first wife by sending her into the woods. And the son, who was an adult, just let him. And now he's trying to do the same thing with the stepsister. And the stepbrother's like, absolutely not. But also, it's all about the sex. All about how he just can't resist her. I DNF'd at 35%. It was not good. And I have Accidentally Kidnapping the Mafia Boss by Evie Rose. These accidentally kidnapping books, while fun premise, are not good. I will let you know that right now. They're novellas. I DNF'd at 41%. The kidnapping was fun, but now we're in the I'm going to defile her innocence smut territory, and I don't care. And that's really all you need to know. If you do care, feel free to pick it up. Accidentally Kidnapping the Mountain Man by Allison Archer. This one was maybe one of the worst ones that I picked up. DNF 45%. If I finished this, it would be a 1 star. Yes, I actually can believe that a man would be into a girl less than half his age and a year younger than his own daughter. I actually don't find that hard to believe at all. Yeah, the fact that she's inexperienced, naive, and in a vulnerable financial situation also doesn't sound like negatives to a man. She's been his realtor for 2 weeks, and that's a love story, baby. So there you have it. It was bad. Like I said, it would have been 1 star, so exceptionally bad. Ensnared by Rebecca Quinn. This is a dystopian, why choose, BDSM, DNF 38%. The writing is addictive, but the characters are pissing me off. They were really making me angry. They accused one of the guys of raping her after they have sex, and it's like, first of all, he's like your brother. Why would your immediate first thought be that he would rape her? Because if that's your first thought about him, then why is he here? And obviously they were wrong, and it's just like, and also they're like, dumb. Okay, it's dumb. I don't know what to tell you, but part of the requirements of her getting to stay is that she sleeps with all of them because they've had problems with women choosing one of them in the past. Sounds like a you issue, but whatever. And then also there's like a couple of male-male romances in it, but they can't be together. God forbid. Dumb. I don't like it. I didn't like most of what was happening, to be honest. Then I DNF Ruth Sponded by V.C. Lancaster. I have no recollection of this book existing. He's from a matriarchal society where males obey their queens. She's dropped into his cell. He doesn't know if she's being used by his captors to control him. She's just a human. I kind of remember this now. DNF 13%, just didn't pick it back up. There you go. A Million Boss Kisses, an urban romance standalone by Lakia. This one made me mad, not gonna lie to you. DNF 43%. This is the one where her husband was cheating on her the whole time and named another one of his children the same name as their stillborn baby, which I find completely unnecessary and unforgivable. There were a couple of things in here I really didn't like, but on a less serious note, you are not going to ruin cheesecake for me by bringing sex into it. I must end it here. And that is true. There was a sex scene that was going to involve cheesecake, and I was like, no. No, actually, I'm out. I thought about just kind of skipping over it, but I decided no. I DNF'd Paths, which is The Killers #2 by Bryn Asher. I read the first one of this a long time ago. DNF'd 6%, just annoying. Do I know why it was annoying? No, but I did. Under Pressure, I just DNF'd this one so bad. IAT Agency, Laura Roma. This was like all of the worst things you can imagine from 2000s writing. DNF 43%, 2000s bad. She's Italian, short, and with tits and ass and curly hair. So she's an exotic beauty as opposed to the conventionally beautiful, like her tall, thin, blonde friend. Why only one of those can be beautiful? I don't know. Mind you, she's insecure about how she looks or whatever, while being described as the most gorgeous woman to have ever walked this earth. Like, okay, what are we talking about? You're a goddess, but we're supposed to believe that they're not attracted to you? Okay. She was violently attacked by a stalker a year ago. The love interest just meets her, is an asshole to her, is super possessive, accuses her of cheating on an imaginary boyfriend, then is mad at her because she walked out the morning after. Mind you, she's dealing with PTSD from a stalker attack, and he's being the worst. Then turns out her brothers work with him, and they're like, absolutely not, and he's like, absolutely yes. While they fight over her like a bone. The love interest is either acting like a possessive asshole or trying to fuck her. No in between. Everything that he likes about her is the fact that he wants to sleep with her, and she's a spitfire. Again, like the red flags are flying. But somehow, after 3 hours in his presence, she felt so safe with him, even though he's done nothing but accuse her of things. But he's the one. It's the opposite of good. I DNF'd Out of My League by Jessica Prince. Oh, this one made me mad too. So he's like the local hot guy. She moves into the town. DNF 17%. This is pissing me off. She's short, a size 12. And apparently that is too fat for a hot guy to be interested in. And then she does a makeover specifically and starts losing weight specifically to get this hot guy's attention. This hot guy who is not interested in her currently. Ick! Disgusting! There is nothing wrong with being fat. Mind you, again, a size 12. There's nothing wrong with being fat. Fat is not a bad word. But she's attempting to lose weight because of her crush. Now her crush and the police department are connecting her to break-ins in the neighborhood, but for no reason other than the fact that her brother has a record. Okay. What? So he's going to pretend to be interested in her in order to get close to her so that they can catch the brother when he shows up. Mind you, she's brand new to town. They don't know this brother. Why have they decided that this random person that they've never met or seen that has a criminal record is the one for their break-ins? Sounds like profiling to me. Sounds like bad police work to me. Garbage. So he's like that of a security company. The police chief is like his friend is like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to pretend to be interested in her. Garbage. Bad. Bad. What do you mean? Oh, I'm mad. I'm mad about it. Fire in the Glass, which is The Charismatics, #1 by Jacqueline Benson. This is still on my TBR. As a matter of fact, I do really want to read it this fall. This is a historical, paranormal mixed up. She sees visions of people dying and there's nothing she can do to stop them. She's tried over and over and over again since she was a child, and she has a vision that her friend is gonna die, and she's trying to outrun that, runs into this aristocrat. She has a motorcycle accident, very exciting stuff, and is going to end up pairing up with him to try and catch a supernatural, possibly vampire, killer that is killing the city's mediums, including her friend. And this is a 4-book series, and it's by the author of The Empire Shadows, and I really want to see if I like this series as well. So I honestly just put it down because I changed reading modes. It was time to work on a vlog. Like, it was nothing. I started it and just didn't continue right away. The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes by Tiffany Hunt. This is not a standalone. Their romance continues in book 2. This was so long. It was over 500 pages. I liked it. I liked the beginning. I DNF'd at 48%. Cute and enjoyable, but too long. Definitely not interested in the second half where they refuse to be together and just drag it out for the entire thing. He's the villain. He kidnaps her, forces her to be his bride. She's obviously going to become his villainess, working on the magic that her father forbid her from learning. All of that. It did not need to be as long or as dragged out as it was by any stretch of the imagination. The chapter titles were very, very cute. I loved it, but not enough to read more and more and more and more. Then finally, I DNF'd Dear Grumpy Boss by Julia Wolf. And I DNF'd this 48%. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think I'm done reading. The reasons they're not together but are sleeping together never makes any sense to me. Don't feel good enough to me. He's her boss and her brother's best friend. But again, they are sleeping together. So you have already crossed the line that is the issue. Being together in a romantic relationship is not the issue. Sleeping together is the issue. And that's the thing that you're okay with doing. Make it make sense. They're sleeping together on a work retreat. Dumb. So there's no good reason to not just be in a sanctioned relationship. And I stand by that. So that's it. That's all of the books that I DNF'd in the third quarter of 2025. And why? Nice snappy one. My DNFing slowed down, probably partially because my reading slowed down, but it doesn't matter. This is what I got. Hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts about these books, and let me know if there's any on here that you actually like. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.